Cam, welcome to the Finding Meaning in Work podcast.
Good to see you, mate.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, we've known each other for about 10 years now, ever since you tried to run me over with your motorbike.
I forgot about that. That's true.
But I feel I know you, although I suppose I don't really know you. You know, we've had some awesome times together, but I think the reason you're on is just your journey so far, especially with your work. And I think, the reason you're on is because I feel I respect what you've done with
Thanks, man.
how you
Appreciate
shaped
that.
your career now. So maybe to get started, can you tell us where you are now with Active Dog? What is Active Dog?
Yeah.
And what are you doing with it?
Yeah, so the business Active Dog, so I'm a dog trainer, certified dog trainer, and I specialise in fear, anxiety and aggression cases for dogs. So it's been a bit of a journey. I know we'll talk about that. But Active Dog, essentially I work with people who have adopted maybe tricky dogs. They've got some challenges in the home, or people that just have challenging dogs in a home environment. So I generally go into their home, or we do an assessment at my house, and we try to figure out why it's happening, get an understanding of the behaviour, and then we put in place, some solutions and try and fix it over time.
Yeah, nice, man. So maybe now taking us kind of right back.
Yep.
Where are you from? Where were you born?
I was born, it's not an amazing story, mate. I was born in Berwick.
Let me be the judge of
that. Someone might find it interesting,
Yeah.
Born in Berwick. So I grew up on that southeastern side of Melbourne, out Narre Warren way, Berwick sort of way. Went to school out there, went to a private school till about year 10, and then I skipped over to another school, sort of a country school. So that's sort of the area. I grew up on a boarding kennel, so my mum...
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, my mum ran a boarding kennel.
What does that mean?
Say again?
What's a boarding kennel?
Oh, boarding kennel. So that's accommodation and housing for dogs. So when people go on holiday or they go overseas or something like that, they don't quite know what to do with their dog, and they take it to a boarding kennel. So my mum ran that. So I've grown up around dogs. There's always been dogs around. My mum...
So multiple dogs around?
Heaps.
Yeah.
Just dogs everywhere. And my mum bred Borzoi as well, which is a Russian wolfhound. So if anyone's listening, you probably have to look that up. They're quite a rare breed.
They're quite big, aren't they?
They're huge. Yeah. They're bigger than a greyhound. Yeah.
So thinking about your childhood, then what would you say your relationship with dogs was like back when you were a kid? Was there always that natural affinity with them, or?
Yeah, they're just always there. So all day, every day, there were dogs around. Like I had a dog. I've always had dogs. My folks had dogs. I reckon at any given time we would have had between 5 to 10 dogs that my parents were the guardians of or owned. But then we had the boarding kennel as well, so there was all these random dogs sort of coming into the house. So it was pretty much just normal. It's like status quo, just dogs around as part of the family. Had 3 sisters, busy household, and there were just dogs kicking around everywhere. So
yeah, wow. So what were you like at school?
What was I like at school? Like academically?
Academically, socially, however you want to.
Yeah, sure. So academically, not great. I didn't do too well in terms of marks. I did finish year 12. I wasn't really that focused on the academic side. I loved sport. I loved partying, going out, having a bit of fun. I loved the social aspect of school. I really enjoyed that. But I didn't really apply myself academically or anything like that. Yeah.
Even though you didn't, were there any subjects that stood out to you? Or was there anything that...
Yeah, good question. So I really liked like business management.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, there was a I think it was an elective that I did in year 11, year 12, business management, and I really enjoyed that. I did quite well in that subject. So if there was something that I was interested in and I applied myself, I did well at. But everything else was sort of peripheral, and I just sort of scraped through. Yeah, so I think business. I really like business. I've always liked geography. I really, still today, I'm always like studying the map, and I love travelling, and what's the capital of this country and what's the capital of that. I love geography as well. Yeah, so I did quite well in geography, history, business, that sort of stuff.
Yep.
Maths, I'm all right with maths. Like if you ask me, what's a sum, I can work it out in my head, but formulas, I was just hopeless. I didn't apply myself.
What's 12 times 72?
Oh, stop it. I'm not doing that. I've just talked it up. I could answer that, but
Yeah, okay.
840 or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe going back to dogs, were you helping out with your mum's kennel? Were you?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, so I was actively involved. I think my mum would have liked me to be more involved. She would have been like, do more of the grunt work, clean the kennels, do this. But I did all that stuff and picked up the poo and all that sort of stuff and helped her out. But I was more actively just sort of taking dogs out and cruising around with dogs. We had 5 acres. It was quite a nice space to go out and just hang out with dogs, and they were always around.
Yeah.
I had a dog, a Staffordshire Bull Terrier. His name was Pirate Pete. All white, beautiful dog, and he had a patch on his eye, hence the Pirate Pete. And he was my best mate. Like we did everything together, and we went everywhere together. He lived for 15 years. And even when I was like 17, 18, 19, even when I went to mates' places on the road with my skateboard in the car, Pete was always there. So it's pretty cool.
As a young kid, was there something in you that could discern the personality of dogs? Like, that could, I suppose, figure out dogs in a way? Or understand them?
That's a hard question, because now I know a lot about learning theory with dogs and animals, and now today I know a lot about applied behaviour analysis and things like that, so the technical sort of aspect of understanding dog behaviour and why they do what they do. So it's a tough question because I didn't have that knowledge then, but intuitively, yes, intuitively to a degree. It's a big question. I think if you're just around dogs a lot, you do intuitively understand them.
Yeah. And I think the reason that question came to me is sometimes if you have an intuition about something or a natural affinity to something, that shows up kind of down the track or manifests in different ways. And I was wondering if, did that play out with dogs with you as a kid?
I think it did. It's hard to say. It's hard to know exactly how it manifested.
Yeah.
As a kid, because they were always around, it was just part of the furniture. It was part of the background. There's always dogs in the environment. Yeah. Other people would, they wouldn't have dogs at all. So it was normal. I always have had an affinity with dogs. So even travelling through the world or going to mates' places or whatever, whenever there was a dog, I would go over and say hello and sit with the dog and get to know the dog and all that sort of thing. But I didn't ever think that dogs was an option in terms of a career path or anything like that. But definitely always had an affinity, always been fascinated by dogs and animals in general. Yeah.
Would you say that your sisters shared that affinity, that intuition?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And they don't work with dogs now. But they do have that understanding. And again, they don't have that sort of technical understanding, if you want to call it that. But they do intuitively understand dogs.
What did your dad do for a living?
So he's a dentist.
Okay,
So he's a dentist. He's got a practice out in Dandenong, and he's been a dentist for upward of 40 years. So if you asked him, he's a bloody good dentist. But he's been a dentist. Always run his own business, run his own practice. Had staff and all that sort of thing. Top bloke. Also loves dogs as well. Loves animals.
So, what would you say you, now looking back, that you got from each of your parents in terms of?
So from my mum. Man, that's a big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a huge question. In terms of, I guess from my dad, because he's always run his own business, that sort of entrepreneurial side of going out on your own. My old man's a bit of a chancer. It's like, she'll be right, mate. Yep, it'll work out. Things will happen well. So I think I got a lot of that from him, that spontaneity, and that sort of thing. And from my mum, she's more sort of a nurturer, right? So I think maybe that empathetic side and working with animals and all that sort of thing, probably more so from my mum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So maybe getting back to your school life and how you were a bit of a dud. No, I'm kidding. So you finished year 12, and
Yes.
then if you can take us back to that time, as a 16, 17-year-old, what was going through your head in terms of what I want to be, what direction should I take,
Yep.
Yeah.
I had no direction,
Yeah.
like absolutely zero direction looking back. I studied marketing for a short period. I flunked out. I just stopped studying after a period of time.
Was that at uni?
I was at TAFE.
TAFE,
Yeah. And I worked at a service station, a mobile service station. Yeah. So I did a lot of night shift stuff, and I was out partying.
Yeah.
I was smoking a lot of weed. I was drinking.
Yep.
No direction really. Just really no direction. I started dealing a little bit. Like I was into some bad shit, all small time, but I was into some bad shit. Really had no direction. From the servo, I started working for a company that sold insurance over the phone, like life insurance. And that was a pretty cool experience actually, because I met some really cool people doing that. And I started working in the city, got a taste of the city life and all that
So
sort of thing.
you were cold calling people?
I was cold calling people.
Yeah.
Yeah, selling insurance.
Wow.
Sounds hard. At that time, in the late 90s, early 2000s, it was actually a bit of a layup. People were like, yeah, life insurance, I'll take that.
Yeah,
It's like, okay.
that was also one of my early jobs, cold calling people. But at the time, I was kind of fresh off the boat from India, so my accent was a lot stronger.
Right.
And so the creative racism that I got was just chef's kiss.
Yeah, okay. So you were trying to tell people, hey, I'm in Richmond, and they're mate. Yeah. I had a good mate of mine I worked at NAB with, Manny, absolute legend of a bloke. He came over from India, and he said he started when he first got here in a servo, and he's been really successful in his banking career. And he said when he started, he had to look in the mirror and articulate the way he moves his mouth to try and sound more Australian. Which is, I thought that was really bizarre, but yeah.
So what would you say you got from that job? Like, what did that job really teach you?
What did it teach me? It taught me a bit about sales, about persistence, right? Getting on the phone and being persistent. And it taught me to just, lob up every day, 9 to 5. Come in, do your work, get paid, hit sales targets, and then, have a bit of fun on the weekend.
Yep.
So it gave me some direction, actually, that gig. Yeah.
How old were you?
I reckon 19.
Yeah.
18, 19, 20, around that sort of range. Yeah. Yep.
And then at that time, did you think about going back to study, or were you just now working and...
No, I don't think I was thinking about studying. I might have been, but I don't know. I don't think it was like prevalent.
Yep.
I was just drifting, getting paid every week. I was enjoying life. Young bloke in the city, good friends, people around. I was enjoying it. I wasn't thinking about studying. I wasn't thinking about career path at all.
Yep.
Yeah.
So at that time, were you still feeling directionless, or did this job give you some structure, and then you just caught up in the momentum of
I
that?
think I was directionless. I was sort of caught up in the rave scene and the party scene and not that sort of thing. So maybe it was a bit of a whirlwind, and I didn't really sit there and reflect whether I was directionless or not, if that makes sense.
I think that's the thing. It's especially at that age. Maybe looking back, you might get some insights, but when you're in it at the time, you just caught up in what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And then, so take us forward from that. You were at this life insurance company.
Yep.
How long were you there for?
A couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 3 years, 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens then after 3 years?
Yeah, it kind of played out. It's a pretty tough job doing that day in, day out.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a cycle. And because I was caught up in some stuff that wasn't great and I was directionless, not sure exactly how it happened, but I made the decision to move to London. Yeah. So I don't know why. My sisters had lived in London before. I'd heard of people like Aussies going over to London and having a good time. I didn't know anyone over there. I just thought something's got to change, I guess. And I just made the decision. I saved up enough cash to jump on a plane. I went to Thailand. First time I'd been overseas. Went to Thailand for a month. Had the time of my life. Incredible time over there for 1 month. Solo, travelling solo. Met some cool people, all that sort of thing. And then I lobbed up in London, and I was there for 2.5 years. Just lobbed up solo, didn't really know where to go. First couple of weeks I just stayed in a hostel. And I remember staying in this hostel, the most random people there from all over the world, like Russians and, you know, all sorts, all these random Europeans. And I was just like, what the fuck is going on here? But it was awesome, man. Absolutely loved it.
So during this directionless phase, were your folks or your sisters concerned about you or worried about you?
Yes. Yeah. I don't know in what capacity. Like but they would have been, for sure. They would have been concerned about me for a period of time. Yeah, definitely.
Did that show up in any way? Did they organise an intervention or anything?
No, they didn't. They didn't. My mum was super caring, so she always had my back back in Melbourne. But I remember when I went to London, I pretty much spoke to them every 3 to 6 months. I just went over there and did my thing. Like I remember calling them when I arrived. Yeah, Mum, Dad, I'm safe. I'm all good. Yeah, I'm sorted here. And we just speak every 6 months or so. I do remember one thing which is kind of relevant to dog training is that when my dog Pete, who I mentioned before, the Pirate Pete, he died while I was in London. And that was one of those moments, real anchoring moment, where it was just self-reflection. I remember crying in London, and I think it all poured out, just being, you know, by yourself over there and all that sort of thing. But I just made it work. Like I stopped. I was partying a lot less, which I know sounds weird because a lot of people go to London for that purpose. But I made the decision to go over there and sort of find my feet. I did a lot of odd jobs, worked in bars, did a lot of sort of random sales jobs, all that sort of thing. But whether my parents were worried about me, look, man, I'm sure they were, no doubt.
So, besides your family, were there any other mentor figures, or maybe it could have been a book you read or something that had that subtle shift in you that you thought, okay, this is directionless, I need to find something?
At that time?
At that time?
In London?
Yeah, or before London, before you went?
Let's talk about London. So I met some really interesting and fascinating people over there. And one of the guys I met, Toby Gockle, absolute legend. Shout out to Toby if you ever see this. I might send it to you.
Send it to him,
Yeah, so Toby was my neighbour. He's a German guy, a bit older than me. So he must have had 7 years on me. One of the most positive, like awesome, friendly people I've ever met. And just the way he went about his life, just meeting people. He probably didn't know it, but he was really influential on me at that time. Yeah. So he was my neighbour. We had a little hole in the fence. Right. So I lived here, and he had his unit there. And every day, you know, I'd go over there, or he'd come over, and we'd just hang out. And we used to go out a lot. And he was quite a sensible bloke, really sensible. But he still loved to party. Like he loved to go out, have fun, have a good time. He had a strong influence on me, I'd say. Yeah.
In what sense? And just through his positivity, or?
Yeah, I think through his positivity and the way he went about it, and his maturity, and all that sort of thing.
So maybe thinking back to that time, maybe before London, you're 19, 20, bit of feeling a bit lost. Say now you as 45-year-old Cam.
Oh, don't say that loud. Come on.
we're the same age.
Well, I'm almost 46.
Yeah.
Later this month.
If you could mentor that 19-year-old kid, what advice would you give him?
He wouldn't take my advice.
For
starters, he wouldn't. It's hard to say because I know it worked out in the end.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, yeah, you're doing some crazy shit.
Mm.
Like you could probably steer it further this way, but I'd just say be safer. I just did some dumb shit, like some stupid shit. Like, what are you doing, man? Like getting involved in crazy underground, like just random stuff. I'd say just be safe, and also probably be more respectful of other people and differences in people and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think I was similar at that age, at around 18. Although I was at uni at the time, I felt completely lost.
Yeah, right.
And maybe what I would tell myself is focus on the things you're good at, that you have a natural
That's a good one.
inclination towards.
Yes, yes.
Because I was kind of shelving that and either trying to get through uni or trying to be something I'm not.
Yeah, that's good advice. That's probably advice I would give myself.
Yeah.
Thanks for the chop out there. In terms of why you're pursuing a career path in finance when you have no interest in finance.
Yeah.
Like, what is it about it? Is it because you can make some money? Like, what's the purpose of that? So that's good advice. It would be, sounds cliche, doesn't it? Follow your passion, but find out what you're good at, find out what you enjoy, and just go all in with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, it's not so much, so it's Steve Jobs, like in his commencement address that he gave, it wasn't about following your passion, it's following your curiosity. Like, what are you curious about that you can't let go of? Just go into that.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, so back to London.
Yep.
What were you doing in London? What in terms of work?
Yeah, so when I arrived there, I was just trying to sort of make ends meet. So I did some bar work. I did some sales sort of stuff, more over the phone stuff, similar to selling insurance type vibe. I ended up getting a role. I was pretty lucky at The Economist. You know The Economist magazine?
Yeah,
the publication.
Yeah.
I got a job there somehow, applied for it, and it was selling. It was selling space for conferences and events, like summits, European summits. Right. So the Economist organised those, and that was a bit of an eye opener because that was my first foray into the corporate world, and I was around some incredibly smart people, right, and it was just super interesting. And it was kind of, I kind of enjoyed it. It's like, this is cool. I was making decent money doing that, right? And I met some really interesting people.
Yeah. Cool. And if you could, I suppose, sum up your time in London, looking back now, so you were there for 2.5 years?
2.5 years, yeah.
How would you sum it up, like in terms of the way you grew as a person, or what you learned, or
It really was life changing. It was character building. It did give me some direction, whilst I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do at that stage. It built a lot of resilience because I went over there by myself, right? And I made it work. I made it happen. Kind of ups and downs. I was in a situation where I wasn't. London's like expensive, man. Like it's seriously expensive. It was better at that time probably than what it is now, but it was pretty tough when you're earning minimum wage. So it was more around just meeting people from all around the world, having exposure to different cultures, but not just landing in a country as a tourist and saying, what do I do here? And meeting, the barista or whatever. It was meeting people from Italy, South Africa, all over the world as housemates, Peru, and getting to know these people on the ground, how they live, what their cultures are, what their customs are, having a laugh with them, having a drink with them, all that sort of thing. So it was character building. I've always been a social people person, but that was to me, that was really special. And it really helped me when I got back to Melbourne with my direction.
And I think just another thing on direction is just for me also, what I found helps even today is when I'm feeling directional is just adopting some sort of routine daily.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think you were, as I suppose, a 19, 20-year-old, is just finding that 9 to 5 job.
Yep.
Just doing that.
Yep.
Even it might not have been the thing you want to pursue or whatever, but just getting up in the morning, going somewhere, coming back at night.
Yep. Yep.
I think that sets you in motion to finding yourself, no matter
100%.
what you're doing. Yeah.
And then having some responsibilities.
Yeah.
You've got to pay your rent.
Yep.
How are you going to pay your rent?
Yep.
Well, you have to work, right? And then that sets in that routine. Yeah.
So, speaking of, at the time, could you depend on your parents for that sort of stuff? Or how was that?
100%. My parents have always been there, so I'm super lucky in that regard. Super lucky. So if anything were to happen at any time, I always had that fallback, my parents. So I'm really lucky in that regard. So that was always there. But in London, I was just determined to make it work myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you think that determination came from?
I think it was out of necessity.
Yeah.
Like I'm in London, like no one gives a shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
But then you meet these people, little communities, your housemates, and then you do start to form these relationships, and people do care. But at the end of the day, you're over in London by yourself. It's sink or swim. You've got to make it work, right? Somehow, some way. But the reality is, if it didn't work, I could always just jump on a plane and, hey mum, hey dad, how you going? And, Camp's back. You know, so yeah.
Yeah. So then after London, did you come back to Melbourne, or did you?
Yeah, I travelled Europe. So I went all over Western and Eastern Europe. I've pretty much seen every country there. And on the way back, I went all through Eastern Europe after 2.5 years, probably 3 years all up after travelling. And then I arrived back in Melbourne, and pretty much, what do I do now? No money.
Yeah.
No aspirations, all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I must have been, when I got back from London, I must have been 26.
Yep.
27, maybe 27. Yeah.
So that's kind of well into kind of young adult territory.
Yeah.
Or even quarter life territory, really. And at this point, were your friends kind of in secure jobs, buying houses, all of that stuff, or?
Yeah, so some of my best friends had already had kids, and they were sort of setting themselves up.
Yeah.
But I did end up living in a share house back in Melbourne in Kew.
Yep.
Right, big share house, pretty busy house. There were people coming in and out all the time, and ended up living with a mate that I used to go to school with.
Yep.
Yeah, Tom. Legend of a bloke, and lived with him for a few years, and just found my feet that way.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what I did then. I should be prepared for that. I worked and did stuff.
You did something. You paid the rent somehow.
I paid the rent somehow. I worked for a web design company, I think, like selling advertising space.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a wedding directory.
Yep.
Yeah, so if someone's organising a wedding, you go to this website and you're like, you find all the stuff you need, flowers and all that sort of stuff. So I sold advertising space through that for a year. Again, met some cool people there as well, really smart people that I still keep in contact today.
Yep.
And then what did I do? I had another job after that. It was, corporate gifts. When you get those pens and they're engraved with a company name on them, whatever. Yeah, it was selling that stuff into companies.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty
so
random.
Lots of random sales jobs.
Lots of sales jobs. And I like sales. Like
Yeah.
I like fronting up to people face to face, having a bit of a chat and seeing what happens. Yeah.
I want to bring, during this time, were dogs in your life at all? Or?
So in the share house, there was a collie, Trinity. Honestly, I've assessed thousands of dogs now. I've seen thousands of dogs. Trinity is a 1 in a million dog. Like
Really?
An incredible dog. It was my mate Laurie's dog. And she was just beautiful. Such a smart and calm soul. She was just gorgeous. So she was in my life. My folks lived 45 minutes away. There were dogs there. So there were still dogs in my life, but it was kind of peripheral. It wasn't like I was focused on working with dogs at that stage. They were, again, just part of the furniture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I suppose during this time, was there a calling bubbling up in you, if you can recall? Or?
Yeah, there was. So what happened there was, real quick. So I ended up travelling South America for 8 months. Travelled all through South America. So the calling was travel. see the world, learn Spanish. My Spanish is still sketchy, but that's all right. It was all right at one stage, I promise. So travelled through South America, made it from Mexico through Central America and made it to Colombia.
Yep.
And that was kind of my calling at the time. Travel, see what happens from there. I had this thirst to meet people from around the world, fascinated with South American culture. So I just wanted to get over there. I was seeing a girl at the time. We broke up while we were travelling, but she travelled with me as well. So that was kind of the calling at the time. Pretty directionless, right? I just quit my job at that corporate gift company. I just kind of randomly just quit abruptly and went travelling for 8 months. While I was travelling, I remember calling my mate Laurie, because I had a car, right, back home in Kew. I'd run out of money. I was like, I'm fucked. Like, what am I going to do here? I called my mate. I said, Laurie, take some photos of my car. He's like, what are you talking about? Take some photos. I'm going to sell it. Put it on car sales, right? So he took some photos, and I sold my car while I was travelling through South America. And then 8 months later, I came back to Kew. Laurie was nice enough to welcome me back in. Yeah, man, the house is still here. And no money, no car. So no direction at that stage. The one really smart thing I did, and that's where I met you as well, is just before coming back from overseas, I set up an interview with university, Swinburne. Must have looked online and said, I want to study business. So business was kind of my calling at that stage. I'd had that experience at The Economist in London. I worked for a few other companies I didn't mention, a broking firm and all that sort of thing. And I'm like, I'm going to do business. I'm going to do international business, right? Because I love traveling and I kind of like business. So let's do this. So I set up a meeting with Murray Rees, right? And when I arrived back in Melbourne, a couple of days after arriving, like fresh off the plane, I sat down with Murray and he accepted me into a master's degree based on experience.
Yeah, because you didn't have an undergrad at the time.
No. And to be honest, I hammed it up a bit, but I did have references from The Economist and from the broking firm that I worked with, and it looks good. It's like you worked in London, you worked in in the city, and at the end of the day, universities they're a business, right? They get a bum on the seat, they make 20 grand for the time you're there. So there was a little bit of an ultimatum. Murray sat there and he said, what is it? The diploma, the
grad dip,
and then the masters, and a 6 months blocks.
Yeah.
So he said, if you do well in the diploma, all good. You can continue with the course, right? And I did pretty good. So I got decent marks, maybe 80% or whatever, and he was like, sweet, yeah, you're through.
Yeah, so that's where we met.
That's where we met. Yeah,
at the Masters. Yeah.
Yep.
Not the golf tournament, but the.
That's coming up.
Yeah. What did that course do for you? Because you completed the Masters, you finished it.
I completed the Masters.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was incredible. I really enjoyed it. Just more knowledge, more understanding, some understanding of business. Again, meeting some amazing people like yourself and a few other people from all around the world. A lot of international students did that course all around the world, which was really cool. And that gave me a bit more direction. And I'm like, now I definitely want to do business. I was a little bit misguided. I sort of thought I'll do an international business course and then I'll be sweet. I'll get a high-flying course. I'll be able to travel around the world and do this. It wasn't that way.
Yeah,
When you finish, you've got to find a job and you've got to start from the bottom, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I did it because I was working in engineering at the time and I wanted to change in career.
Right.
And I thought this would open doors because at the time, for some reason, I wanted to get into consulting.
Right.
But like you were saying, it didn't automatically open any doors.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
There was still starting from the bottom, hitting the pavement or just applying and
And I think if you're a prospective employer and you looked at my CV, you're like, what's this guy doing? He's 30, right? And he's just done an 18-month course and he hasn't been working. Like, what's going on here? So I'm not surprised now, retrospectively, looking back, why I wasn't getting any look-ins.
Yep.
Did a bit of door knocking at that stage until I finally landed something. So
yeah, and then that was I suppose an avenue into your career in finance.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah.
So talk us through that. Like, why was that just something that came up, or was there some thought behind that decision?
It seemed like a cool idea.
Yep.
It doesn't now, but at the time it was like, yeah, I could work in a bank, or I could work in finance or something like that. So I was sort of looking around. I think I applied for some banks at the time, and they were just kind of laughing at me. Like, who's this bloke? Like, yeah, I'm sure. So I didn't get a look in there, but I ended up getting a role at Touch Networks, and I got a role as a business development manager there. Touch Networks, actually, at the time, they were developing some of the tech around those prepayment mobile phone cards.
Yep.
So you used to go in the 7-Eleven and the news agency, and you'd say, hey, I want $50 credit for my phone. It'd print out a receipt, and then you'd punch in that number.
Yep.
So they developed that technology way back then. And so they had a lot of integrations into terminals, into banks, into different businesses like 7-Eleven as well. So I worked there. I really enjoyed it. It was good. I was pretty good at it. I was doing okay. And I worked with this guy named Brian Saville, who I'm still mates with. And he was a big inspiration for me, and he still is, right?
In what way, if you don't mind?
Yeah, in what way? So I'll skip to that in a moment, but I ended up working with him at Westpac.
Sure, okay.
So he left Touch, and then he sort of recruited me and said, come into Westpac, and I did get into finance banking. The interesting thing about Touch Networks is now it's actually merged with Afterpay. So way back then, Touch developed the technology for Afterpay. And they sort of partnered with Afterpay for a period of time. Before this is after I was there, but now they've merged, and we all know what happened with Afterpay.
Yeah.
So I always sit here and sort of pinch myself and think, if I was there then and had shares in Afterpay, that'd be crazy. But
we could have been doing this podcast on your yacht.
Exactly, exactly. But I do know a couple of people there who stuck around, and they did get some of the initial share offering. So
anyway, so then you followed Brian into Westpac.
I followed Brian into Westpac.
Okay, yeah.
So he brought me across into Westpac. Had no idea what that was all about, but I started working in sort of tech sales or like payment sales, right? So selling terminals into business and BPay and a bunch of payables and receivables type solutions. Yeah.
And how long were you there?
I was at Westpac 4.5 years.
Yep. So maybe going back to Brian, you said he had a massive influence on you.
Yeah.
In what sense?
Yeah, so Brian is British bloke. He's super charismatic, larger than life sort of character. He runs teams, so he ran a team at Touch, and then when he went across to Westpac, he ran a team of about 20 people. He's a really cool guy, and we just developed a great relationship. I learned a lot from him about life. He had 2 daughters, about family life and what that's all about. But also about sales and relationships and all that sort of thing.
Because this is also the time you started seriously dating Sulin, yeah? Or...
Yes, I met Sulin when I was at Westpac. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Who's now your wife and
absolutely
mother of your son? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So we met at Westpac. I actually saw Sulin on the street and thought she was gorgeous and approached her, and here we are now, married with a son. So
yeah. Look at you, freaking Romeo.
I had a suit on, so I was like, let's go.
So maybe pushing forward now, an active dog and all of that, what would you say Sulin's role has been in that trajectory?
Yeah, so Sulin, I couldn't ask for someone who's more supportive and understanding. Right, so for me to move out of a banking role, 10 years, trajectory, sort of moving up the ranks, good pay, car, all this stuff, for her to support me and to change careers into dog training, which everyone else was scoffing at. She was looking at me like, you're crazy. Sulin had my back. She saw how miserable and unhappy I was
in banking.
After 10 years, and she just backed me, and she has to this day.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
Mm.
Yeah.
What made you so unhappy at banking?
Inauthentic nature of it all,
Mm-hmm.
the hierarchical sort of structure of banking, ticking boxes, playing the game, all this sort of thing. Like in any situation, you meet some really good people,
Mm-hmm.
but then you also meet some toxic people. But I wouldn't even say they're toxic people. I would say they're a product of the environment in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
So some of these people you could meet outside, down at a cafe or
Mm-hmm.
at a pub, and they'll be great people to talk to potentially. But within the system, within the bank and that hierarchy, it can be cutthroat,
Mm-hmm.
and it can be a stressful and charged environment at times.
Mhm.
Not always, had some great times there, met some amazing people. But overall, for me personally, I found it to be inhibiting for my personality and character.
Yep.
Yep.
So then with Active Dog, when did that start? What was the seed of the idea? Like, where did that seed of the idea come from?
Yeah, so I still remember it. It's over 5 years now, maybe 6 years ago. I was so jack of working in a bank that I sat there and just wrote out all the things I like. What do I like? Like, what are the things I enjoy? Music, basketball, dogs, of course. And I just wrote them out. I said, how can I make this a career? How can I make money out of this? Right? And pushing 40, I'm not going to have much luck in basketball. I didn't have much luck in my 20s, right? So I thought, well, what else can I do? And then, dogs just kept coming up.
Yeah.
So, like a lot of things in my life, I just went all in. I didn't go all in, but I remember after writing that list, it was just clear. It was like dogs. I've got to somehow work with dogs. How do I make money working with dogs? Train dogs, right? So I went online, Google search, dog training. In retrospect, I wouldn't have chosen this course if I did it now. But at the time, I just chose a course, accreditation, bang. And I just signed up.
Just the first one that came up, or?
Pretty much. Like, I would have done a bit of research, but I pretty much just saw this course, said this is an accreditation, clicked it, paid the money, I'm in. Right? So I started studying straight away. I continued to work in the bank. I was at NAB at the time. And just started studying frantically. I also got a dog. I got little Bo.
Little Bo.
Little Staffordshire Bull Terrier.
He should have been here with you anyway. Yeah.
Mate, we'd just be managing him, to be honest. I wouldn't be able to talk. Right, I'd be training him. I need a break. This is therapeutic for me to be away from Bo. No, I love him. But interestingly, Bo is related to Pete. So it goes around full cycle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So,
So when you say you were studying, was it pretty intense in terms of what you had to do?
I wouldn't say it was intense.
Yeah.
There was some face-to-face blocks, so you meet up and do some mechanical sort of training with dogs and things like that. But a lot of it was theory-based in your own time. There were some sort of longer assignments. I do remember getting COVID. Like, it was 2020, right? And I got COVID, and that was like a great time because I didn't have to work for a week. I was sort of sick on the couch, but I just started like doing my assignments, like just smashing them out.
In the COVID haze. Yeah.
COVID flow, I called it, just smashed them out and ended up finishing that off, which was cool. At the same time, I joined a mentor program.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was
a formal mentor program? Yeah.
Sort of mentor, like trainers meet up.
Yeah.
And I was super green at the time. These people have got 20 years experience, right? And I lobbed up saying, hey, I like dogs.
Yeah.
And I got to meet some really, really amazing people through that networking program. Yeah, so every Tuesday night we jump on a call and meet up, and every second Sunday, I think it was, we get together with our dogs and do training. So that was more beneficial than the course I was doing. Right, and I learned a lot. I made some good connections. I was still working in the bank at the same time, and I was sort of sitting there going, how do you make money out of dog training? I was looking at some of the other people just going, what gives? How do you do it? So I continued at the bank. I was working at NAB, and then I was headhunted by CBA, and CBA offered me like a good package. They offered me a car. So I'm sitting there going, all right, I want to be a dog trainer, but what am I going to do here? Suelin and I were buying a house at the time, so I'm like, all right, I can't really pass this up. So I started working at CBA, and I fucking hated it. It was the worst thing I ever did, man. Like, so that was a kick in my bum.
Yeah.
Like, this is not for me, man.
Yeah.
Like, I've got to go.
Again, was it the same things you hated as before, or was there something particular to this job that?
Yeah, it's probably like when I was at NAB, it was pretty cushy. Like, I'd been there for 4.5 years.
Yeah,
I'd made a bit of a name for myself in some respects. Like, I was getting deals and all that sort of thing. So I got in this sort of cushy mode, and I was just like, yeah, I'm good. When I went to CBA, it got real. I was just like, whoa, I've got to step up here, right? And I just didn't have it in me.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want to step up. It's not what I wanted to do at all. So that was the impetus for me to go all in dog training and just leave. I literally quit. And that's where Sue Lynn was so amazing. I sat with her and I said, it's not like I can't do this for another week or another month. I can't do this for another second. I've got to get out. And she totally had my back.
Wow,
So,
that's good.
yeah.
There's a question here around ambition. Maybe I'll just ask you, do you see yourself as ambitious?
Or as ambitious? I don't think I am ambitious in the traditional sense, depending on what your interpretation is of ambition. Sue Lynn said it best last night. I can't remember the word she used. I have hyper focus if I'm interested in something, right? So if I'm going to do something, I just do it. I like signing up for the dog training course, like going to London, just suddenly going, oh, I'm going to London, bang, get the ticket, go. I've got hyper focus. So I'm not sure if that's the same as ambition. I was not ambitious at the bank at all. Could I have climbed up higher? Yeah, probably. But I was quite happy just staying where I was. I didn't want to get into management. That's all kind of stressful, right? So I was just there. So I wouldn't call it ambition. But when I'm passionate and focused on something, I do go all in. If I'm not passionate about it, I'll kind of drop off. So I'll start strong and then I'll kind of drop off. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
I think it does, because I think because sometimes, especially in a hierarchical environment, ambition can be toxic in that you just want to climb the ladder for the sake of climbing the ladder. Even though it's not who you are, it's not where you want to be, but it's just this, you're just caught up in the momentum and you think, I got to do this because I'm an ambitious person.
Yeah, and that happened a lot in the bank in terms of my managers kind of grooming me, saying, hey, in 2 years, I want you to be in this position. This is what you need to get there.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, that's not where I want to be.
Yeah. Actually, one of the more eye-opening books I've read just on this is Open by Andre Agassi.
Okay.
It's his kind of autobiography. But I think...
Pre-mullet or post-mullet?
Yeah, definitely post-mullet.
Right.
And I think this is in the first page of the book where he says, pretty much begins the book by saying how much he hated tennis.
Yeah.
And that how much he hated tennis his whole life.
Wow.
And it was because he was pushed into tennis by his dad, and then just his natural competitive drive and ambition propelled him forward.
Right.
So he became a world champion out of compulsion, really, than something that was innate.
Right.
And then by the time he was writing the book, like his body had broken down, he had drug problems, like all these things started to bubble up.
So, and if I haven't read the book, but I do know a bit about Agassi, and I feel like he's open about it. Ego drove him a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's completely open about that in the book. But I think the reason I brought it up is sometimes we think also just because we're really good at something that we need to pursue it.
Right.
Even though it might not come from a genuine part of ourselves.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, on the tennis tip, Nick Kyrgios would be an example of that. I would say he does not enjoy tennis.
Yeah.
He's just supremely talented. It's like,
Yeah. Or you contrast that with Roger Federer, who I think had just emanated joy when he played tennis.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You love Federer.
Yeah. So then, starting Active Dog, how did you get your first clients?
My first client, so the way I left banking
Yeah.
was I just quit, as I said, and then I was like, I need to work in dog training,
Yeah.
and I was lucky enough through a friend of mine in the mentor program, Tony Goodfellow. She was managing a shelter, the Lost Dogs Home. She was managing the behaviour department. I was super green at that time. I'd never even been in a shelter, like back of house, and I was lucky enough where she hired me. So I went from working in a bank, wearing a suit, to working in a dog shelter with hundreds of dogs. And it required sort of waking up at 7:30 in the morning, assessing dogs day in, day out, strays, surrenders, different kind of stress. I absolutely loved it. It's the best thing I could have done.
Yep.
Like, you learn so much more being with the animal, being with the dog, than you do through theory, right? So that's the best thing I could have done. I worked there for years. And through that time, I've always had this desire to start a business. And that's probably where my old man sort of influences me a bit. I knew that I was going to start a dog training business. That's where I started when I wrote it down on the piece of paper. I want to be a dog trainer and have a business. And then years later, I was like, that's how I'm going to make it happen. So Active Dog, again, I think that hyper focus, I built a website, like just a Squarespace website. I knocked that out within a couple of weeks. I just built that. Then I learned a bit about like just Google AdWords and how to drive traffic through. And that's how I got my first client. It was like Google AdWords, started getting a few inquiries, sales, picked up the phone. Hey buddy, still remember my first consult. It wasn't horrible. I think I actually helped that guy, which is good. You had a Jack Russell.
That's handy.
Yeah, it is. So that was cool. So that's how I generated the business and got things kicked off.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so now, as you mentioned at the start, your I suppose your focus and your speciality within dog training is behavior training.
Yes.
And so can I ask, like, what has training dogs taught you about human beings and human relationships?
That is a great question. So I reflect on this often. So training dogs, sort of look at it as humans and dogs, mammals, sentient beings, right? So there is a lot of emphasis and focus in society that we need an obedient dog, right? We need to train our dog because we have a preconceived idea about what a dog should be, right? And since being a dad, Jack's now 18 months of age, and I have 3 dogs now, and I have 2 super, pretty tricky dogs, rescue fails and things like that. I see it less about dog training now. I know that sounds crazy because obviously dog training has a place in all this, but it's more around understanding the dog in front of you. Every dog is an individual, just like every person is an individual, right? Just like Jack. So there are a lot of similarities in terms of how we approach our interactions with dogs and people, right? Training comes later. So when you work in a shelter, a lot of these dogs, most of these dogs, because of the environment, are either fearful, anxious, or stressed, right? So I can't go in there and say, hey buddy, sit, do a spin, drop. Like, it doesn't happen. It's about building trust first. You go in the shelter and you build trust, right? And one of the penny dropped recently, just in terms of how I approach things with my dog Mookie in new environments versus my son Jack, right? So Mookie has generalised anxiety disorder. So he's fancy term neophobic. He's scared of everything in the world, right? So he's comfortable in our yard. He's comfortable with my 2 dogs and our family. Then notice the moment we go out the front door, it's overstimulating, and there's a fear response. And if anything, like a garbage truck came past, he would freak out, right? So we need to really regulate with Mookie and help him work through that. So it's about self-regulation before training, if that makes sense. So we come outside the gate, and I'll give him something like a bully stick, so that he can chew on the bully stick and then self-regulate. I'm circling back to your question, I think. And I noticed with Jack, I brought him to a park a couple of weeks ago, and we met some friends. And when Jack arrived, he was a little bit like, whoa, overstimulation, there's people everywhere. And I didn't do it, but my partner gave him a yogurt. Right? So Jack's there sucking on a yogurt. And it made me think that's exactly what we do with Mookie to help him self-regulate. Right? So I think I answered your question. The training comes in that once the dog is able to think and learn and process the environment around them, similar to a person or a baby, then you can start to layer on the training, right? So once I have a captive audience with Mookie, he's taken in the environment, he said, I am safe, right? Everything's all good here. Then once he looks up at me, cool man, now we can do some stuff. And the parallel with Jack, I guess, was that after he had the yogurt, then I gave him a ball. The ball is familiar because it came from home. It's something he's played with a million times before. New environment, everything else is random and new, but he's like, I know this ball. And then he was able to play with the ball, interact with my mate's kid, and then he was good. So there's so many similarities, and it's not so much about training. It's first and foremost about understanding, building trust, making sure everyone's safe, and then going from there.
How do you build trust with a dog, especially a quote-unquote problem dog like Mookie initially?
Yeah, it's going to vary dog to dog. The way you would approach a dog, say in a shelter, right? So they've got their pen. This is a safe environment for them, as safe as it can be, right, in the shelter. But you really want to be non-threatening in terms of body posture, the way you approach. There's a misconception that when we introduce ourselves to dogs, we put our hand out, we approach, give them a pat on the head. Man, they can smell you from a block away. You don't need to put your hand in their face, right? A dog's scenting, like the part of their brain for smelling, is the same size as our language centre in our brain. So that's how they see the world, through scent. So really, we want to create distance from the dog, stand side on, be non-threatening, don't make direct eye contact, and maybe have some kind of interaction to build rapport by throwing treats or something like that. So you build trust through time and getting to know the dog, how they respond.
So you mentioned Jack is now 18 months, your son?
Yeah.
How has becoming a father changed how you view your career and what you do for a living, if it has?
I also, when I wrote that list, I made a pact with myself that before having a baby, before bringing someone into this world, I need to do something that I enjoy, because I didn't want him to have a miserable dad. So what has he taught me? Is that the question?
How does your view of what you do for work changed since you become a father?
I don't think it has, to be honest. I don't think it has. I think in terms of being a role model for him, that's the beneficial part. Because I think he can see me interacting with dogs and other people. Not sure if I answered your question.
No, I think you did initially, in that you made a pact with yourself that before you became a dad, that this is something you would do.
100%. Yeah.
And I think, so to kind of tie a bow on this conversation, like you've had phases in your life of directionless, finding direction, being directionless again, finding direction. How are you right now in 2025? I don't know what the date is. Yeah.
Oh, it's a good question. I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really good. I'm almost drawn because I'm not working in shelters, and I'm not working with rescue dogs as much as I was previously in my current role. I'm really drawn to that. So a lot of my work now through Active Dog and through the other shelter I work with now is working directly with clients and working directly with people who have adopted a dog or potentially have a challenging dog in their home. So a lot of my training and my expertise and knowledge is facilitated through that person back to their dog, right? So I'm helping them through a training program and things like that. I'm really missing working directly with dogs in the shelter, right? So in terms of my direction, it's less moving forward. It's more going backwards to where I was before in the shelter. I've got to think about how I'm going to monetize that. I've got a few ideas around that as to how I can work with shelters, not only in Australia but potentially around the world as well, and that would be through some kind of online module, something to that effect. So I really want to be on the ground, working face to face, looking at the dog in front of me again. Yeah. Wow. That's the direction I want to take. So it really is, it's just not about money anymore, man. Like in the banking, that's the only carrot. Make more money, make more money, make more money. Next year you have a better car. You'll have a car, you'll have a house soon. Now my driver is helping dogs on an individual level, but I want to figure out how I can sort of economies of scale. That's a financial term, but
you picked up at the Masters.
Yeah, exactly. I thought I'd throw that one out there. That how I can optimize that and work with a lot of dogs and help a lot of dogs, and through that a lot of people as well.
Right, so this is the final question. The name of this podcast is Finding Meaning in Work. What does the term meaningful work mean to you?
Meaningful work work's that 4-letter word. Like to me, work has that connotation with having to get up and having to do something throughout most of my life. I find that meaningful work, where I've landed now, it's not really work anymore, right? And that's my interpretation of the word work. It's more about having an impact, but also being happy. That's it. Happiness and having an impact. If I was to tie that bow for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well tied, my friend. Mate, thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
I mean, I've known you for 10 years, but I think this conversation has just, made me get to know you a bit better, but made me also to respect you.
Oh, thank you, brother. And I've respected you from day one, even when I tried to run into you with my motorbike.
All right, mate. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, Raul. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you for listening to this podcast. If you're enjoying and are learning from this podcast, please subscribe on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. A great zero-cost way to support us is to leave a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you are feeling extra generous, it'd be great if you could leave a comment or feedback on our Apple Podcast or YouTube pages. Or you could email your comments and feedback to me directly at rahul@disruptivebusinessnetwork.com. That's RAHUL@disruptivebusinessnetwork, all one word.com. Finally, a big shout out to our producer Dan Scahill for his work on the keys and to Vashti Civil for writing the original music for our theme. Until next time, this is your host Rahul Sones signing off. Bye.